Welcome. So my name is Lucia Servin and I am Miss Servin, right, on campus. I am a teacher in Southwest University and super excited to be here. It's been an extraordinary tenure, okay? I am part of the English department and I have over 25 years of experience, possibly going on 27, educational experience. I'm a retired high school principal and most of my tenure has been in the public education system K-12. So very exciting, lots of experience there. And so I welcome you to this SU Teaches. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism PR. I also have a master's in education. So, so that's why I'm in English, right? So we are in an English department and we have on SU, we have tried to create lots of programs and lots of support systems and resources for our students to be able to get help in any area that they need, whether it's physical help with your instructors or also technical help, where you could sort of relay in terms of videos on YouTube or extensive research, databases like EBSCO that is available for all our student faculties and staff, okay? I am part of the faculty and so we have developed in our English department a paper review system. We felt one of our teachers who was a brilliant idea, we felt that there needed to be some sort of paper review so that way before you turn in your paper, whether it be a research paper or whether it be an essay, or I do a lot of possible like honors. You have to apply for honors, you have to apply for other programs once you go up in terms of higher education, and you have to write an essay. So I review a lot of those. So the system is called paper review, and what it is that it's on your dashboard. I believe in resources, or you can go to the library, and once you click on that link you can go in and pick your teacher. I think there's about 4 or 5 teachers within the English department that do the paper review, and they have specific allotted times where you can have a Teams chat with them, or you can meet with them physically and they review your paper. We usually require 3 days in advance in order for us to review the paper, and then once we correct it and we review it, we meet with the student and then we review the recommendations we have. We also have Grammarly, which is really helpful, and it checks out any type of grammar, any type of syntax, any type of sentence that maybe, or paragraphs that might not be correct. So that helps tremendously. We also have APA systems. So we have within your dashboard, and it's really important for you all to really review your dashboard. Your dashboard has a ton of resources that sometimes you don't know are there and that can help you tremendously. So any type of class other than English, right, they might require you an APA format. And so you have within your dashboard an APA generator, okay, and you also have an APA PowerPoint and sampler, sample of the APA. Also, the English department has created a PowerPoint for APA on changes that have happened and that the APA has requested and done from last year. So we will be updating that as every time that there's updates, but there was a significant update just recently, and so the department got together and created PowerPoint as well, and as in SU Teaches. So I highly encourage you to pick that. We also have within the Word, within Word and Microsoft, we have the APA, so it formats it automatically. When I was going to school, and this will date me, right, because I'm super old, but what happened is that you used to have to manually input it. So Word has a specific program. You look at, within the files up on top, and you pick APA, and it'll automatically format it, okay, for you. So lots of resources and lots of really neat sort of like cheat sheets that are now acceptable because the APA is formatted it automatically. So that's the paper review. You go in, you pick your teacher, you pick in a time, and then they sort of settle in. You have to upload your paper review. Your teachers ask for a copy if you didn't upload it at that moment, and then you get your paper reviewed. So that way, you know, before you turn it in, you have something that's already been reviewed by a faculty English department teacher. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about you know, research papers and also essays. Okay, I will do research papers first. You have your teacher that gives you you know, an assignment, right? You're going to do a research. They usually give you some time because we are in 6-week terms. Then it sort of limits the amount of time that, you know, you can do for research. So time is of the essence, and it is very important for you to be diligent and for you to be on top of it for several reasons. All right. First and foremost, you need to make sure that you get all the requirements. If it's an actual research paper, there's certain requirements that are going to be needed within the research. Typical is your title page. You're going to have an outline. You're going to have a body of your research, whatever it is that you research. You're going to have an APA format. You're also going to have you know, a bibliography. Okay, bibliographies are super important, especially in the medical field, because it tells you where it is that you got the information that you research, because this is going to be, research is about collaboration and taking information from other resources, other books, other researches that have been done by other professionals, and you have formulated them and combined them into the research that you're doing. So so those are really important, especially for medical, especially for law, because there's in science, STEM programs, because usually there's going to be other prior research that you're going to use in order to propel your research or in order to guide you to where you need to be. So there's been a lot of like theories in mathematics. There's been a lot of possible studies in the medical field that other professionals, other you know, like doctors have done, and so it cuts your time in half. Or you see something within their research, an article or something that they quoted, or whatever it is that you're using for your own research, that you can go back and reference within that resource that they used, and you can thoroughly go through everything that they read in that specific article that might be of use to you. So citing that is going to be super important for everybody else that needs to reference something within your paper, and that's why bibliographies are so important. Okay, APA style is important because there needs to be a specific structure to it. It also, basically that's it, a specific structure to it. Outlines are very important because outlines help you think and help you organize your research. Okay, so there's all sorts of outlines. I'll do a later video on that. You can have the outlines where you have your Roman numerals and, you know, your A's and B's, and so those are very important for you to be able to really organize your paper and figure out what it all is going to include. You can also, in terms of trying to figure out what it is, and it also references the research paper, so that way if somebody wants a specific area within your research paper, they can reference within the outline and they don't have to be looking for it tremendously. Okay, so you also need a title page, right? But before the title page, we'll go back to the outlines. In order to do your outlines and in order to possibly think as well, there's all sorts of like maybe notes that you can take. And if you went to school here in El Paso, also in New Mexico, you were taught to take notes. I know that in my high school, when I was a high school principal, we had Cornell notes. So notes were very important to take, and there's a specific structure that you have. So note taking is really important also within your research paper. Also, you can do your outlines and you can do webs. And so webs, you can do like spider webs, right? Little webs is what they're called. And so you have your specific title, and then you have your little bubbles around your title that will indicate what you're going to be speaking on. Okay, so that leads me to my topic and my title page. When you first get your your topic, right, or your assignment from your teacher, they're going to give you some sort of topic, or they might allow you to pick your topic. If your topic is within like medical, right, then you're going to know that you have to stay within the medical, information, okay, and research. So you need to make sure that you understand what the requirements are for your research paper. So how do you do that? Your teacher will probably give you all the requirements. It needs APA, it needs a bibliography, it needs a title page, it needs a table, some of them need table contents, some of them don't, right? Mostly they don't, or you need an outline. And so they will tell you. They will also give you the amount, they will also give you what the topics that they're expecting for you to research on are, okay? This is critical in your beginning of your research project. That's why it's so important for you to start your research project as soon as they give you your assignment, because you can start doing the research. And within doing the research, you're going to find all sorts of stuff. So part of the problem is determining and narrowing down your topic. If they tell you, write on anything that you want for medical, medical is a broad, huge topic. So what within medical would you want to talk about, okay? And that's how you start researching, and that's how you start narrowing your topic. The problem with your topic is that you might pick a really neat topic that you might really like, okay? But as you go through the research, there's no information on it. Or there's an overwhelming database on it. And so it's going to be very hard for you to narrow it down and pick it. So it's important that as you go through the research, that you figure out what kind of research and information you find. Because if the topic is a very limited topic and you can't find enough research on it to be able to write a 10-page paper, then what you need to do is realize that there isn't enough information. And instead of realizing that like on week 3 or 4 when you're almost supposed to be done, right, you realize it and you understand it at the very beginning. And what the whole pro to that, okay, is that if there isn't enough research on it, you can go to your teacher and say, hey, Ms. Servin, I picked this topic that you required, within the areas that you gave us, but there isn't enough research on it. Can I pick another topic? And usually I would recommend that you have another topic that you've already researched, that you already know that there's enough research to it, that you can tell your teacher, would this be an acceptable topic for you? So that way you're not wasting time in researching something that doesn't have enough resource on it, okay, and enough information, enough data, that you're going to be spinning your wheels and you're going to be very, very frustrated, and you're not going to have enough data and information to be able to finish your assignment, which is going to be huge if you have to take in a 10-page research paper. So very important, okay? The other thing about when you write that I found, because we used to do a lot of testing, and I was the principal, so I used to study it a lot, is that when you start your research and you start your body, right, and all the information that's going to be there, because there is specific structure to the research, right? So once you start writing your research paper, what happens when it's poorly written, there's certain things that consider it to be poorly written, right? It's grammar is off, all right? It doesn't make any sense. The transitional phrases from one paragraph to another are not transitional, right? And the most important thing about the essay or the research is that when you're writing it, you start with one specific topic, and then at the end, you close it off, or within the body of your research, you start veering into something else. Okay, and you end up with a completely different topic, or talking and speaking and researching and giving information and data on something that had nothing to do with your original topic. And that's very easy to do, okay? So you might be talking on, I don't know, I'm not medical, so I wouldn't know. But let's take something really simple, and let's keep it really simple. Let's take that we're talking about our Disney, that we take a trip to Disneyland. just for say, right? And so we start with a trip that we got it together, we planned it out, we got to Disneyland, this and that, we're talking about sort of stuff, and then we deviate, right? And then we end up just maybe talking just about the food or about a recipe, and then that concludes all of it, and we don't really wrap up the whole essence of what the trip was. It can also be like in medical, right? So you sort of talk about, you know, a specific disease and then sort of end up with maybe, you know, the lack of customer service or communication within the medical field. It can be linked to it, and there can be portions of it, you know, if there's misinformation on the disease, and that's fine. But if you're talking about a specific topic, you need to stay with the whole body of the paragraph and the whole research to that specific topic. And at the end, with your conclusion, right, you wrap everything up. So the biggest issue, especially when you write, and especially when you are tested on any type of research or any type of writing or any type of essay, has to be that you deviate from the topic. Okay, so be mindful of that. That goes for essays as well. Essays are a little bit less stringent in terms of formalities of research paper, but nonetheless they still have their requirements. Okay, so you sort of write the same thing. In terms of writing, you have your introductory paragraph, you have your body of your whole essay or research, and then you have your conclusion. Okay, and there has to be transitions within it so it won't seem like it's super choppy. We will later be having more samples on this, you know, more samples on the paper review. We're creating the English department is currently creating a sample on research paper and what a research paper would look like, and we're also going to be giving pros and cons and tips to writing better. So I hope that this SU Teaches helped you, and I thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you.